Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The General Assembly has made great strides over the last few years to protect students from sexual abuse in schools. However, we have unfinished work related to the protection of students ages 18 and over. Whether it's an 18-year-old senior in high school or a student with disabilities who stays in high school a little bit longer, we have a duty to make sure kids are not the victims of sexual exploitation all the way through the day of high school graduation. Students enter high school as minors and educators stand in loco parentis. That authority does not end when the child turns 18 and is still a student. Educators and school staff exhibit control over students' behavior, grades, and discipline, and therefore no sexual conduct from the adult educators and staff is acceptable at any student's age. Sex in that context betrays trust and permanently damages a student's ability to give and receive love. Currently, an educator or staff member can have sexual conduct with an 18-year-old student and will lose their job if they're caught, but police cannot investigate, and the person can go on to work with students in other capacities outside of the school system. We would never find it acceptable that a corrections officer would have sex with a person under their control in a corrections facility. And in fact, that is already a Class 3 felony. So this bill will ensure that students also have protections from people who are in control over their destiny. This bill is very narrowly tailored and does the following. It provides that a person commits abuse by an educator or authority figure if the student is 18 to 23 years old, the person is 4 years older than the student, and holds or held within the previous year a position of trust, authority, or supervision in relation to the student in connection with an educational or extracurricular program or activity, and the person commits an act of sexual conduct or sexual penetration with the student. Sexual conduct would be a Class A misdemeanor for the first offense. Sexual penetration would be a Class 4 felony for the first offense. Finally, the bill provides that consent of the victim is not a defense to the abuse by an educator or authority figure. I have worked with many advocates, and we have been extremely careful to choose our words and the terms of this bill. In fact, the only criticism I've received is that it's not strong enough. But again, we've been very intentional with our words out of respect for concerns that have been brought forth on previous discussions on this topic, including in the Senate. I want to thank you so much, all the people in this body who have been wonderful advocates for victims of sexual abuse and who have lent so much support for this bill, namely Representatives Mussman, Stewart, Cassidy, Mason, Windhorse, and others. And I want to thank Representative Slaughter for his communication and willingness to hear this bill, and Jude Krim. I appreciate you all. I also want to thank Faith Colson for her unwavering commitment to fight for victims and for telling her story so that no other student has to go through what she went through in high school and for years afterwards. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I would ask for an aye vote.
Question is, shall House Bill 4241 pass? All those in favor vote aye, opposed vote nay. The voting is open. On this question, there are 107 voting yes, 0 voting no, 0 voting present, and this bill having received the constitutional majority is hereby declared pass.